Okay, so I think we are live. So, hi, I'm Raval. I'm here with Anya. Tell me I pronounced that right again.
Yeah, that's Ania, that's right.
Great. So, how are you doing, Anya?
Good. The weather in London is not so great today, but it just means that I managed to get stuck in with a few new videos today. So just been editing quite a lot of videos, making animations, really getting to grips with Premiere Pro. So yeah, hopefully you'll get some videos out soon.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I played around with Premiere Pro, but it doesn't agree with my graphics card at the moment, so it's like really, really slow. So I'm using Power Director.
Oh really? I've never had a power director.
I think
Okay.
it's published by Cyberlink. It came with my PC, so it's not like I can't imagine it being a super, super great tool, but it does the
Nice.
job for me.
Amazing.
Yeah, so could you tell us a little bit about yourself? I understand you lived in multiple countries.
Yes, I did. So for those of you who don't know, my name is Anya and I'm a software developer here in London. I did actually grow up in the United Arab Emirates till the age of 18 and then came over here to study architecture, interestingly enough, which obviously I did not pursue. Um, Ended up living in Singapore and then moving back to London after, I think, a year or two there.
Oh, cool. That's a lot of different countries. I'm originally from South Africa and then moved to England, I think, when I was 17. So I grew up, pretty much in South Africa and came here to
Ah,
study. Sorry, what was that?
sorry, how was that?
It was great. We lived really close to the beach, and we lived in Durban, so it was really hot all the time. So really enjoyed that. And I moved in
Yeah.
December, which is actually summer in South Africa, but middle of winter in England, and I was so shocked.
Oh my God. I had the exact same thing. Like the first winter here, I was like, what is this? It's so cold. But now I actually sort of appreciate it. Now I actually enjoy the whole Christmas vibe thing, getting
Yeah,
cold, um, sitting next to like a fire. So yeah, it's cool.
yeah. Christmas used to be at the beach for us, so it's really really strange. But we got used to it. Been here for a while now, so yeah.
Nice.
So you said you studied architecture. What got you into software development?
Well, I actually, so I studied architecture. And then somewhere maybe around 5 years ago, I decided to start my own company. This was something that I did on the side, just with a few friends. It was just a really simple e-commerce site, but this was, I think, back when they had Wix or Weebly. So it was something really old. I can't remember what it was, but it was so basic. And I really wanted to sort of personalize the website some more. So that is when I sort of started doing my own sort of custom messing around the HTML, the CSS, and then before you knew it, I was just like really hooked.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, entered startup life for a bit, so sort of got to hold the no tech scene here in London. Joined a meetup called Geek Girl Meetup, which is actually a worldwide meetup. But now I run the sort of London section, if you will, with a few girls. So slowly got into the tech world and more until I got a General Assembly scholarship and went to do a boot camp for 3 months where I got to grips with JavaScript and frameworks such as React, Express. We did a little bit of Python,
Oh,
but
cool.
nothing crazy there. And yeah, that's where sort of my journey actually professionally started.
Nice. Sounds cool. It's very different to mine. I did I guess the more traditional route of going to college, university, and going doing work experience and getting a job. Like and I think it was a digital agency is where I started, and right now I work for a company called Made.com, which is
Oh, maybe not.
yeah. You heard
Oh,
of
amazing.
it? Yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah. I guess then we sell furniture. So
yeah. I think I have a few pieces from
oh,
May.com,
do
so
you? Nice.
I do, yeah.
That's cool. Yeah,
Very
so
cool.
our offices are in London as well. So even though I live out of London, I do travel in often. Obviously not now with the whole lockdown situation. Which, by the way, how's that going for you?
Well, the lockdown, I'm currently on furlough, so um, not technically working. So I've just been sort of upskilling, sort of getting to grips, learning React Native, which has been really fun and cool.
Oh, cool.
But typically, my work office is pretty good in the fact they let people work from home on a Friday anyway, so I
Oh,
guess it's just like an extended version of that.
yeah.
For some people, yeah.
Yeah, like I think I used to do 2 days work from home anyway because the train can be so painful. Like I had to do just the national rail and then the tube as well. So long journey in. It's nice to not do that journey.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So I know you mentioned JavaScript, and I think my question was actually going to be what makes JavaScript special to you. But yeah, so it looks like you got into JavaScript through your bootcamp. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, for obvious reasons, I guess JavaScript is quite good because it can be used on the front end, used on the back end. I guess as quite someone new to the game, I don't really have much to compare it to in terms of Java or anything like that. But I love it. I think it's definitely the way a lot of companies are going, especially young tech startups as well.
Oh yeah, it's everywhere, especially Vue, Angular, and React. I saw a really great meme once of I'm guessing you know about Pokemon.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, if you ever played the Nintendo game, they had like your starter Pokemon was like Squirtle, Charmander, and something. But
yeah,
the
yeah.
meme just had those characters and the different JavaScript frameworks. Like they the same, but they have slight differences between them. Yeah, they're really great frameworks. I've managed to work with all. I've worked with Vue, with Laravel, and I think I only did that for like 6 months. I did a lot of Angular in my previous company, and I just touched on React, very little. So it's
Think of it.
so was that.
What did you think of it?
I enjoyed Angular a lot. We used Redux with it, and I thought it was really good. I like Vue because of the it's so integrated into Laravel. I don't have to think, and I can just do something with it. But I just haven't played around with all the frameworks enough to really appreciate them.
Yeah. As someone who hasn't really touched on Angular and Vue, is it the same sort of concept? So is it component based,
Yeah,
a sort of component based library? Okay.
that's
S-
exactly it. And they're
Yeah.
all very similar. When you pick them up, you can sort of just dive into to the other one. Maybe like some syntax different and some minor things, but a lot of it is pretty much the same.
Yeah. I think Flatiron, they do Angular, or maybe they don't anymore. I can't remember the school. Sorry, for those of you who don't know. Flatiron is another boot camp. I went to General Assembly, which is a London-based one, but I think Flatiron is now owned by WeWork. So I think um, there's a Flatiron in most WeWorks now, from what I have heard.
Okay. I've got a friend doing a boot camp at the moment. I think his is like a mixture of things. I think he's doing Ruby and Rails and JavaScript as well. I think it's called the Wagon. Have you heard of that?
Yes, I have heard of Lewagon.
Oh, right.
We were fortunate enough to do to do a event with Lewagon as part of Geek Girl Meetup. So that was really cool. I think we did like build your own landing page in 2 hours. So that was fun. It was quite a big turnout to that.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't. I maybe attended 2 or 3 meetups. I think I don't take it. London. There's so many. I should really go to more.
There's
Uh,
so many.
yeah, it's really fun. And then the few that I went to had pizza and beer. So I mean that's great.
Yeah. They always have pizza and beer, don't they? I wonder how virtual meetups are doing right now. Have you been to any virtual ones?
No, I haven't actually. Yeah.
No, I'd love to know. I mean, I haven't either, but I'm sure there's definitely an appetite for them.
Yeah, I can imagine because yeah, everyone's used to using Zoom or whatever video
Yeah.
conferencing tool. So yeah, I know you mentioned that you touched on Python. I think my question was going to be: is there any other languages that you work with, or you know, or you like?
As I said, it is just mainly JavaScript at the moment. We use React. Redux is obviously also prominent in our projects. We're bringing that in as well. Um, I'm trying to learn React Native, which is something that's really cool because obviously for me it's something quite that I'm just quite interested in it. I don't really know how it works. I saw like we have a mobile development team. I was also intrigued about how they sort of get the code up onto their mobile phones. How do they get the simulators up and running? What do they do when it's Android? What do they do when it's iOS? So that was quite a fun learning curve for me. If anyone wants to look into that, I know expo.io have a lot of cool documentation. So that's basically what I've been working off at the moment.
Cool.
Um, yeah, that's really it. And apart from that, just a little bit of Python in terms of building a backend for one of my projects, um, and looking a little bit into Python in data science. But again, that was a workshop. So that's me in a nutshell.
Nice. So yeah, you said React is basically your primary framework. Is that correct? So
Correct.
I was going to ask, what do you think's the favorite part of React for you?
Like I sort of touched on before, it's definitely the component-based aspect. It makes projects so much cleaner and easier to work on because you can sort of take one part, um, duplicate it. So you can have, I don't know, for example, for those who don't know about component based programming, I guess, is if you want to build, trying to think of a good example here, like a to-do list, right? And you have a lot of objects, you have a whole API of objects, and you want to map out each one to something, you can make a card component and then just reuse it and map out information onto this card. So that's really handy, and it's just everything to make your life easier, right? I
Yeah.
think that was one of the first examples of React that came into my head that makes my life a lot easier in programming.
I think for me this like view is a little bit similar in that sense. I was working on a website and the whole component thing was amazing to me because we managed to do. I think it was just like a sign up thing, sign up to this newsletter. But to have a component base was so useful, and we could just lift it and put it into any sort of template that required it. And it just made so much sense because I came from the procedural JavaScript world, and oh god, every sort of code base I touched has some sort of spaghetti mess of JavaScript everywhere. And when I got introduced to components, I thought, just this is amazing. Um,
Yeah, game changer.
yeah, it was really really useful. Yeah, so I think that covers React. But let's talk about your YouTube channel. What made you start one?
Well, interesting enough, one of the first projects that I think I did was building a game of Tetris. So I decided to tackle the problem, uh, sort of, like everyone does, I guess, with a pencil and a piece of paper, sort of drew out my approach. This is before I really knew that much, or basically all the sort of options that were available to me in JavaScript. Anyway, ended up building my Tetris game and was like, cool, this is amazing, this works. And then ended up seeing other people's projects because we were a part of a boot camp, and I was just a bit like, oh, okay, my approach is just really different to everyone else's. I don't know if I'll explain this very well, but it was much more about, I guess, visually showing something and then visually working with that rather than the XY coordinate
Yeah.
based grid approach. So I thought that was interesting because if I was to explain that, I think I very much focus on classes and assigning classes to things and moving that class and finding that class rather than finding the index number and so on. So I was like, okay, well, this is interesting. The fact that no one really thought about this way to approach something. I wonder if someone else out there would appreciate this way of learning, this more visual way of learning, I I sort of had. So I put the video out there. It was really bad. I mean, I used my iPhone and like the sound was horrible, but I was like, okay, whatever. I'm just gonna do it. I'm put my iPhone in front of me and then just screen recorded. And I think I called it like the alternative approach to Java to Tetris or something, and just had a really good response. And people would go like, "Oh my god, this is really interesting. This is not a way that I've seen explained before." So I was like, "Okay, cool." And like, obviously, it felt good to sort of give back to the community. I feel like I'm always getting inspired by people, or the amount of help I think we all get from the internet, right, is mental.
Yeah.
So just being able to give something back was quite nice. And since then, it's just sort of grown from there. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's fun. I really enjoy helping.
I, I, I think I think my next question was going to be, I noticed you use building games as a way to teach, but I think you've already answered that. I enjoyed it. I watched some of your videos. I thought the production value is amazing. I really struggle with getting, I don't know, clear picture or clear audio. I've tried so many different things, but yeah, I was just really impressed with how your teaching style as well as your production value. It's really good.
Oh, thank you so much. But yeah, like I said, the first video was horrible. Like, so bad.
Yeah, my first video is on Git Flow, and I can't watch it now. It's unfortunately it has so many views and it gets so much it has a decent amount of traffic, so I don't want to take it down. but it's
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
I'm talking really slowly and whatever. It's weird, but
Um,
yeah.
what was I gonna say? Oh God, I forgot what I was gonna say now. Yeah, like I just never watch videos like that I posted of 2 weeks ago because then you just get too perfectionist about it. You just want to be like, fine, it's done, just put it out there, it's okay. Rather than like, oh my God, no, what have I done here? Because realistically, it's fine.
Yeah, I try to get better with each video, so that's the way I look at it. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So I think I have one of the questions. What type of content do you upload to your channel? But it's mostly tutorials, isn't it?
I think I like to focus on the game tutorials. They are longer ones, so obviously I think I've got one that really goes into depth with fundamentals, but in most of them I assume you have some understanding of JavaScript or at least HTML and CSS. But yeah, there are tutorials on games. I do have recently done a few explainer videos, so like 5-minute explainer videos.
Yeah.
My most recent one actually I put out today is a 5-minute explainer video about what binary search is.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah, it's quite fun. It's very sort of visual. You don't have to code along, you just sort of listen. So it's a variation of like coding along and just 5-minute listening videos. So I tend to just fluctuate between the two.
Yeah, I kind of went down. I guess I'm still experimenting with what sort of content I produce. I started off just doing. So if I learned something new and it got stuck in my head, a good way to do it is just to well, for me is to keep writing it down and then explain it to myself. So I thought maybe if I make a video, I can just rewatch my video and I'll remember whatever I learned on that day. And it started off like that, and I realized, well, people are actually watching the stuff and learning from it. So I thought I'll just continue doing it. I think it worked out really well. It's not like I have millions of subscribers or anything, but there's it's still fun. I do enjoy teaching people, so
And
that's always good.
yeah, and you're completely right. You sort of reinforce what you've learned as well. So it's a two-way stream in a way.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely. And yeah, no, I also noticed you have like really long or a couple really long videos, and for me, I absolutely struggle to make a video longer than like 10 minutes because I would have to repeat myself, or I don't know. Like I think I maybe try too hard to make it perfect that first time. I don't know how you managed to do such long videos. I skipped through. I didn't watch the whole hour one, but I did notice that you did a really good job in that. How do you go about planning them? Like, how do you actually make that video?
Yeah. Well, I guess the first thing in my game one, I would focus on actually making the game first. So just sit down and code it out. Um, After that, I'd leave it for a day because you always come back with a fresh pair of eyes and see how you can refactor it. Just make it a lot neater and tidier and cleaner. Because let's be honest, that's something that like I hate going back to, and I'm like, oh, if it looks awful, I want to make sure it's the best it can be at the time.
Yeah.
Once I've done that, I will then well, I guess sort of that. Let's take a step back. I do actually use a pen and a paper sort of approach. So, say for example, my game of Tetris. When it came to the tetraminos and rotating them and where I should rotate them, I use the equivalent of a paper and a pencil, which is just simply getting Google Sheets out. It was a grid-based game, so it's quite easily to draw out the grids just in an Excel spreadsheet. And that was sort of my first step. So even before touching any code, that's what I did.
Right.
Then coding the game, and then once I'm happy with it, I would use just QuickTime screen recorder, and start coding along, but also filming myself. So I'd put the camera here. I'm not gonna lie, like obviously if I do something wrong, I will stop it and then film it again, because no one wants to see me be like, oh no, and like delete my code because research it. Like we all know how to Google. That's not why people are watching my video. So I do try and make it as streamlined as possible for the viewer. So it's like, quite contained and quite engaging.
Yeah, because, oh God, so many times I just get stuck and then I freeze and I can't remember what I meant to say while I was recording, and then I just have to go back and over and just do it again.
Yeah.
I think I did my version of a long video was like 40 separate parts in like 5 minutes each. And I don't know. Maybe I'll just stick to my 10-minute videos.
Which video was that? I don't think I saw that one.
So I think it's called like how to TDD a REST API in Laravel, and
Oh, cool.
yeah, just a whole like so many parts to it. I didn't actually complete it fully as well, so it's sort of at the
Yeah.
back of my mind saying you should finish that while you started it. Yeah, so yeah, maybe I should.
You
I
put
should
on,
do
you
that.
should put on Udemy. I know Udemy, you can upload your videos now. I think just so if they're like not very long, whatever, you're worried about people spending money on them, there's like a free option as well, so you could just put it out for free.
I'll take a look into that. Thanks for
Yeah.
letting me know, because I haven't actually looked into, because I know there's plural site and stuff where you can submit your videos, but I've never tried that, and maybe I'll look into it. Thanks.
Yeah, no
Um,
worries.
I think I got one more question for you, and that is, you seem to be building a really good social online basis, I guess, fan basis. Where can new fans find you?
If you'd like to follow my YouTube channel, it's just simply my name, which is Ania Kubow. It's Polish. It's Ania Kub for Bravo OW. And then on Twitter, it's the same handle, just with a underscore in between that. So yeah, please do check out my YouTube channel, or just reach out to me on Twitter if you get stuck with any problems, or if you have any questions about my tutorial. I'll be more than happy to help.
Awesome. I'm gonna put those links in the description, so if you can just send them over, just to clarify, I know I'm putting the correct ones in there, and I'll put it in, and so guys can just click on that and go to your channel. I think that's all the questions I have today. Thank you so much for taking the time out to do this. It's been really fun.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you so much for having me. I loved it.
No problem. Yeah, I think that's it.
Cool.